なたの声が満ちしるべ
Evergarden です。
Would you believe me if I told you humans are hardwired for love, empathy, and friendship? Violet Evergarden is a masterpiece, and I'm honestly struggling to properly portray just how powerful and moving this series really is. It's so strikingly beautiful and heartfelt that I dare say that it rivals the emotional weight of anything I have ever seen. And how this realization makes me nervous that we may never see something so incredibly beautiful ever again. I don't think any anime has made me cry as much as this show. It truly touched me in ways I never thought was possible. The story follows a girl named Violet who has just come back from a major war in which she took part in frontline action. Violet has no family or friends, and the only human connection she has ever had and cherished was with her commanding officer, Major Gilbert. Raised as a military tool, Violet has known nothing other than the battlefield, and as a result, she only has one purpose: to follow her orders. But the war cost her dearly. She not only lost both of her arms, but her connection with Gilbert. In their last encounter, and perhaps one of the most defining scenes of the series, Gilbert is bleeding severely and tells Violet that he loves her, that he wants her to live freely. Since Violet's connection with human emotion was limited, she not only fails to fathom the meaning of love, but also the feeling and meaning behind those last words that Gilbert uttered to her. Having lost both of her arms in battle and waiting to hear Gilbert has survived, Violet takes a job as an auto memories doll, which is essentially a glorified letter writer. These dolls are hired to write by people who aren't exactly sure of how to express the emotions they wish to convey. Violet is a doll both figuratively, from the way she starts as a blank slate, and literally as an auto memory doll who writes letters for those who require her services. Violet initially comes off as the most unrelatable character who is good at everything she does with military precision, but lacks empathy and emotions. And it is this obvious disconnect from the world that humanizes her rather than alienates her. Can you even begin to imagine the toll a war would take on a person, especially on a child? Well, I can't. What's amazing about this show is its semi-episodic feel and how it takes Violet on a journey of self-discovery, self-acceptance, and love. As the story unfolds, Violet begins to understand how each person interprets love. That said, what's really gripping is Violet's ability to learn empathy. Each episode allows Violet to tackle a different emotion. Perhaps every client represents a missing piece of her that she needs to explore and understand, whether it's guilt, accepting loss, self-reflection, or even learning the all-encompassing meaning of love. Violet believes that she's a tool because she has been told that her entire life. Her only goal is to follow orders, which makes Major's final orders even more sad when you consider that she literally doesn't understand what he wants from her. She doesn't understand what it means to love or even to live, as it were. On the surface, Violet Evergarden seems like a story about a girl trying to connect and understand the last words of her commanding officer. But it is so much more than that. The show is about what we do after losing our purpose, our sense of self, which we all crave. What do we do when your entire life is completely uprooted and the only thing you have ever known is gone? How do you continue living after losing that original foundation? Are we even capable of rekindling those emotions somehow? In a world where we have so many ways to communicate and connect with others, we often hide our vulnerabilities and build walls to protect ourselves. We don't attempt to connect with others as much as we should in their times of need, and neither do we ask for help when we experience our own trauma. We aren't in touch with our feelings as we should be, and maybe we aren't willing to forgive ourselves of our mistakes and learn from them as we should. I am no stranger to this loss myself. I have lost friends and love multiple times in my life. When we lose people we love, we often feel we've lost a sense of self. We find ourselves asking questions like, who am I and what is my purpose? I know from experience that such heart-wrenching circumstances can leave us feeling frustrated, unsettled, angry, disappointed, and even betrayed, especially when we need to know we belong somewhere in this world. So of course there's a crushing fall when we lose someone we love or get rejected by someone whom our heart desires. Whether it's a lover or a friend, but to be told no from someone you love is to be negated, and your whole existence is called into question. After all, agony and ecstasy are two sides of the same coin. Rejection or loss of any sort is always a difficult pill to swallow, but some semblance of poetry is to be found in this loss. So perhaps when things don't go our way, we can take it with grace. We will feel the ache in gratitude, accept the reality, and turn it into poetry.